Over the past couple years, I've spent $914,000 on paid advertising, generating over 64,000 leads, 6,248 appointments, 946 clients, and 3.9 million in front-end sales. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why none of those numbers matter at all. Before I really dive into the meat of this video, let me kind of give you a background on how I got started acquiring clients through paid advertising for my marketing companies, such as my agencies and my consultancies. March 2019, that was the first month I ever ran paid advertising for myself, for one of my businesses. Previously, I'd only been getting clients from word of mouth and referrals, and I was stuck on that referral merry-go-round that many, I would say like 95% of agency owners nowadays are stuck on without having any other means of predictable client acquisition. So to make a long story really short, I got fed up with being at the mercy of the referral gods and not knowing how many clients or opportunities I was going to have next month. And so I decided to take a more aggressive approach. I ramped up some Facebook ads. I leveraged one of my skill sets that I had been developing, which was copywriting. And like I said, in March 2019, I launched ads to get clients for the first time. It took off like a rocket. Before that, my previous largest month in business was about $50,000. That first month I launched ads, we spent around $4,900 or so, and we generated $89,000 in sales. Month two, we turned $7,300 into $149,000. That was my first six-figure month ever. Month three, we turned $19K into $205K. Month four, $21 into $129, and month five, $45 into $293. And we proceeded to have 16 consecutive six-figure months until COVID came along and things slowed down a little bit. Regardless, in that year and a half, I learned the true power of leveraging paid advertising to build a true, predictable, scalable client acquisition machine. One that works not only for marketing agency owners, but also consultants, coaches, etc. And what we're going to talk about in today's video is how I was able to scale and maintain a profitable client acquisition funnel for years and years and years. Matter of fact, over the past 4.5 years, there were only 4 months that I did not advertise, and 3 of those months, it was because I was in the middle of selling one of my agencies. Now, some of you may have seen one of my other videos on my YouTube channel that talks about the core marketing and sales metrics you need to be aware of in order to profitably scale the paid client acquisition system for your agency or for your consultancy or whatever. But in case you missed it, let me give a little recap, okay? There are many metrics that you need to keep a watchful eye on as you scale up a paid ads campaign for client acquisition. Now, the obvious ones are things like leads, cost per lead, appointments, cost per appointment, live call, cost per live call, show rate, cost per MQL. Lots and lots of stats that you could be tracking to making sure that you have a cheat sheet in front of you, right? Those stats are going to show you exactly what you need to change about your marketing campaign to dial in the performance. But what I want to talk about today is how we categorize all of those metrics. I would say there's a total of about 12 to 15 different metrics I'm talking about, and a small handful of those are the ones that actually move the needle in your business in terms of revenue and profitability. The other ones I call vanity metrics, are the ones that all the gurus talk about, such as amount of appointments booked and things like that, that yes, are important, but the importance of them are kind of overstated when we compare them up against things like cost per live call and other important metrics that are actually going to determine the efficacy of your marketing campaign as a whole. So the whole goal, again, is to look at all the metrics that you can and should be tracking as you launch and scale a paid acquisition campaign, but then identify the main metrics that are essentially the most profitable levers you can pull as you scale things up. So in this video, I'm going to categorize all those metrics into 3 main buckets, and then I'll tell you which metrics are in each bucket. Okay, so now let's dive into all of these, starting with the vanity metrics, okay? These are the metrics that the coaches and the gurus like to shout from the mountaintops and try to get you to focus on, like leads, number of appointments, etc. 100 appointments, get 100 appointments per month guaranteed, done for you or you don't pay. Like all of that stuff they're trying to get you to focus on. All of these metrics don't matter if the underlying metrics aren't lined up as well, okay? So let's start with the basics. Cost per lead, okay? If you have an amazing cost per lead, $5 a lead or whatever the case might be, but the quality is not there, and the lead to appointment conversion rate is not there, it doesn't matter. It's a vanity metric. Cost per booked call or cost per appointment. Similar to cost per lead, if you have a great cost per booked call or cost per appointment, but the quality is not there, they haven't been screened, they haven't been pre-qualified, or the show rate is terrible, then cost per book call doesn't matter. I see a lot of people flaunting a $30, $40, $50 cost per book call, but if their show rate is 30%, who cares, right? The underlying metrics have to be good as well. Another one is revenue. Okay, this may be the most obvious one, but if someone is flaunting that they're making $100,000 a month, cool, man, but what's the profitability, right? The revenue is like your height as an individual, but your profit is your health, right? And they're not telling us what the health is, okay? If they're generating $100,000 in revenue per month, but it costs them $60,000 per month in ad spend to generate that, well then after costs of overhead, after staff, after softwares, after other costs of goods sold and fulfillment costs, they may not be profiting anything, right? And finally, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to put this in Vanity Metrics, but I will, but let me explain. Cost per acquisition, okay? Our customer acquisition costs, and I put in parentheses on my notes, sometimes, right? If you have a really, really good cost per customer acquisition, but the lifetime value of your customer is really, really low, then that's where that balance is thrown off. For instance, in my marketing agency, our cost per customer acquisition was about $500 to $600 because we were acquiring clients that were paying us $2,500 per month or $3,500 per month. Okay, lifetime value could be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a $500 cost per acquisition. That is what we call positive ROI. That's really, really healthy, right? However, if you're spending $500 customer acquisition cost to acquire a $29 per month software client or a SaaS client, that's not so profitable, right? That means you're gonna have to keep them on board for, a good 15 months to see an ROI on that ad spend. So those are the vanity metrics: leads, cost per lead, cost per book call, revenue, and customer acquisition cost sometimes. Now let's go to the hero metrics. These are the one level deeper metrics that you should really be focusing on to make sure that your campaigns are super ROI positive, all right? Cost per MQL. First, let me go ahead and explain what MQL is. MQL means a marketing qualified lead. This means a lead that has a specific problem. First of all, they're in your target niche or your target industry. They have a specific problem that your company can solve, and they have money to spend to solve that problem. That's an MQL. That's a marketing qualified lead. So one of the hero metrics I'm talking about is cost per MQL, okay? Cost per MQL. So in my business, specifically on my advertising tracking sheet, this is the cost per qualified booked appointment getting on one of my sales reps' calendar slots. Now, here's how you improve MQL. What you need to do, first of all, is make sure you have a good appointment cost, but you also need to make sure that your front-end marketing is attracting higher quality clients, okay? We need to make sure that A, they are in your target market, and B, they have money to spend to solve a problem, and then C, they're getting on your calendar at a good cost per booked appointment. Now, how can we improve this quality rate? How can we improve the quality of people coming into our funnel and booking a call? Well, it really starts with ad copy, and then we can also talk about the topics such as targeting and copy within your funnel, but it really starts with that ad copy. If your ad copy is focusing on pain points that only people at the higher end of your target market are going to be concerned about, then that is how we're going to automatically disqualify everyone below them in terms of quality, right? So let's say I'm an agency owner and I'm marketing to roofing companies. A bit of ad copy or a headline that says, hey, roofing company owners will help you get more booked appointments. That may draw in any and all types of roofing company owners, including the low quality applicants or low quality prospects. But if I were to say, hey, roofing company owners, are you tired of not being able to keep your sales team's calendars full with red hot roof installation leads in your target zip code? That is going to attract a higher quality prospect because it's going after and focusing on a very, very specific problem that only roofing company owners at a certain level are going to have, aka managing a sales team and making sure their sales team's calendars are being kept full. So we need to focus on MQLs and cost per MQL. Okay, the next hero metric is live call conversion rate, okay? So how well are we converting live calls into sales? This is a very no-duh hero metric or a no-duh type of statement. We need to make sure that either us or our sales team are really good at converting high-quality prospects on the phone or on Zoom or whatever into actual customers. The next hero metric is lifetime value, okay? Lifetime value, this is the total amount of money on average that a customer pays you over time. For instance, in my agency, we would typically sell a bundled marketing package that was $2,500 per month. Let's say we held a client for 6 months, that means they paid us $15,000. Or if we held them for a whole year, they paid us $30,000, right? That lifetime value is going to be very, very important for how aggressive you can get with your marketing, right? If I know my lifetime value is $5,000 and it's costing me $1,000 to acquire the client, I can't be as aggressive with my marketing as I could be if my customer acquisition cost is $1,000, like I said, but my lifetime value on average is $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000. So the higher your lifetime value is, the more aggressive you can be with your marketing. Therefore, you can afford or you can withstand a higher cost per booked call, a higher cost per MQL, etc., if you know what your lifetime value is and you have that down pat. Okay, the last category of metrics we're going to talk about today are ghost metrics. These are metrics that a lot of agency owners and consultants don't really think about that much, but they should, because they make all the difference within your marketing campaign's profitability. I'll go through these really quick because this may need a whole nother video in and of itself. Number one is lead to booking percentage, okay? So let's say you get a lead in, and let's say you get 10 leads in, right? And then 2 of those book a call. Well, that's a 20% lead to booked call conversion rate. Or if you get 10 and 5 book a call, that's a 50% lead to booking conversion rate, right? Now, why is this important? Obviously, the higher that percentage is, the better our cost per booked call is going to be. Now, like we talked about earlier, we also need to factor in the quality and things like that, but this metric is really, really key. Now, how can we improve that lead to booking percentage? Well, we can look at the CRO of our opt-in page or whatever it is we're using to generate leads, okay? If you are using a landing page and someone clicks on your ad and fills out their name, email, phone number, and hits submit, and then goes to the booking page where they can book a call, we need to take a look at both of those pages and see what's the ad copy like, what's the lead magnet like, or what's the hook like that's going to incentivize them to book a call with us. And we can improve that over time to increase that lead to booking percentage. Another ghost metric is MQL percentage. Remember how earlier I explained what an MQL is? It's a marketing qualified lead. A lead that is in your target market and has money to spend to solve a specific problem. Now, MQL percentage is the percentage of all leads that are MQL, okay? Let's say you generate 100 leads and only 50 of them are MQL. The reason why this is a ghost metric that affects other metrics without you knowing is if your MQL percentage is really low, like 40 or 50%, we've seen this time and time again, you are naturally going to have a lower show rate on your booked calls. And what happens is people see they have a show rate of like 50% or 40% or something crazy low, and they start freaking out thinking like, oh, I need to adjust my automations on the back end, or I need to adjust the SOP of my appointment setter and doing all these things on the back end, when really it's a front end problem. It's the quality of the front end leads, which means they need to go back to their marketing and look at their ad copy and their targeting, not adjust back end systems and automated follow-up systems. So that ghost metric is one that I've really dug into lately in my own business. Marketing qualified lead percentage. Another ghost metric, which is really cool to look at, is total cost per booked calls, TCPBC, okay? This means this is the cost per booked call after we factor in appointments that come from our appointment setter, right? So if we have our total ad spend divided by appointments that came from ads, that gives us our raw cost per booked call from advertising. But if we do total ad spend divided by the sum of appointments from ads and appointments from our appointment setter, that gives us our total cost per booked call. The reason why this metric is important is because it allows me to calculate some other back end metrics that I've found to be important over time, such as raw booking to sale conversion rate. Also, this allows me to track closer cost per acquisition. Here's what I mean by that. If I have the total cost per booked call, let's say my total cost per booked call, remember, including advertising appointments and setter appointments, is $150. And then I can see that one of my closers is taking 10 calls to get a sale, and I know my total cost per booked call is $150. That means that closer's individual cost per acquisition is $1,500. So knowing that total cost per booked call allows me to know what the customer acquisition cost is on a closer by closer basis. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. A bit of a beefier topic today because we went through like a dozen different metrics and their functions and what they all mean. And I think that the ghost metrics and the details of the hero metrics, hopefully this is enlightening for you. Hopefully it will show you how we can look at the details of the marketing engine that you're building for your agency or your consultancy and give you an idea of which levers to pull to increase revenue, to increase profitability, to increase performance overall. Again, we talked about the vanity metrics. These are the ones like revenue, cost per booked call, amount of leads, things like that, the Taylor Swifts of sales data, like I said. And then we talked about the hero metrics. These are the ones that really matter and generate the bulk of the outcome for your marketing campaign. And then, of course, we talked about the ghost metrics. These are the ones that most marketers overlook. But if you dial these in, they will positively affect all the other metrics downstream. And that does it for this video, guys. I hope this was really, really informative. I hope that if you are someone who is running paid advertising for your agency or for your consultancy, this has been eye-opening and gets you to think beyond leads, cost per lead, appointments, cost per appointment, and look at some of the more detailed metrics that are really going to help you squeeze the most juice out of your marketing dollars. And then if you are someone who has not yet ran any paid advertising for your own consultancy or agency, I hope this will encourage you to do so. Starting to run paid ads for my businesses changed my life, honestly. It was like a lever that I pulled and instantly I was able to start scaling my companies. It was incredible when I first put it into place and still is today. Having said that, I hope you learned a lot in this video. If you have any ideas for future videos, future topics, future lessons that you want me to teach on, please put them in the comments below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. I'll see you in the next video.